Hello, 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 beautiful people. Welcome to another live stream. This one's a little bit later than the past few that we've had, past few days. It's about 10 o'clock my time. So tonight we got a good one in store for you. We're going to be talking about how anxiety tends to cycle from one thing to another. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight because I know sometimes that can throw people for a loop. They overcome, you could say, one trigger, one thought, only to be met with another one. So that tends to throw people off a little bit, and they resort back to bad old habits, right? They get into their head about it, they overthink it, they become confused. So we're gonna clear the air on all of that tonight. That way, you can stick to what you know, you can stick to acceptance, and you don't have to get up in your head overthinking this cycle of anxiety, right? We're going to explain why it happens. We're going to explain how you need to just stick to what you know. We're going to get into all of that. So hopefully it's going to be another good one. Brian first in stream. What's up, Brian? How you doing, dude? Bendy Tree's right behind him. And then we got Sanchez. What's up, Sanchez? What up, Wonder Bro? What's up, Jay? Hope you're having a great night. This is so true, bro. When I get anxious about everything, like a domino effect. Yeah, we're going to talk about that because I understand that can be like I said, a confusing subject for a lot of people. So I want to clear the air on that. Knowledge is power when we're dealing with anxiety, right? Knowledge really is power. In order for you to be able to stick to acceptance, not get so in your head about these symptoms, these feelings, these thoughts, then you really need to know what's going on. So I'm a firm believer in knowledge is power when it comes to anxiety. So we're going to get into that tonight. Chat is already filling up pretty quickly, so we don't really have to wait around too long. What's up, Sky? Welcome, dude. Glad you could join us. Okay, hello says first. Not quite, but close enough, right? Close enough. Mouse, what's up, Mouse? Brother, can throat pain be a symptom of anxiety? Been having it for 2 weeks. No extreme pain, of course, but otherwise I'm good. When I eat, it doesn't even hurt, so I'm confused. There are several symptoms that can deal with the throat. I've heard about it in the past. I personally never dealt with a whole lot of throat-related symptoms unless we're talking about like tightness. But I'm sure pain can be a anxiety throat-related symptom. Of course, I can't diagnose anybody, but yeah, I'm sure it can be. There's a lot of symptoms that deal with the throat when we're talking about anxiety. Mike is in here. What's up, Mike? What's up, Mike? Ghost. What's up, Ghost? No need to get into your head about it, Mouse. I will say that because that's not going to do anything to relieve your throat symptoms, right? And that's really what this whole thing comes down to, not getting into your head about these symptoms of anxiety, right? Whether they be physical or mental. That's really what the advice comes down to, not getting into your head about it. So, we know when we get into our head about these things, it leads to second fear, it leads to worry, it leads to all this over-exaggeration, right, which we do not need. The nerves do not need. Hi, Wonder Bro, how's things? What's up, Kay? Welcome. All right, guys, chat is already popping off tonight, so we really don't need to wait around. All right, so let's jump into this one. Anxiety tends to cycle from one thing to another. So, again, this is a topic that tends to throw a lot of people for a loop, right? Because maybe they start their day really, really bothered by a certain trigger, a certain thought or a certain situation, and then, as time goes on, they're not as triggered by that thing, but then here comes another thing, right? Show of hands, how many people in chat can relate to that? So it throws people off because they're like, wow, I just, I feel okay about this trigger, but now I'm locked on to another one. I feel okay about this triggering thought, but now I'm locked on to another one. The anxiety is locked on to another one. So, it throws people off because they start to feel somewhat okay with this, that, or the other, only to have something else come along that they get stuck on and get locked into. And it gets people frustrated. Right? It's frustrating because it's like, man, I was doing okay with this, and now here's this thing that I'm locked onto, whether it be a symptom or an intrusive thought, right? Those are very common. And they get frustrated. They go back to bad old habits. They're like, I can't keep this up because this thing's over and now here comes this thing, and that thing's over and now here comes this thing, and they get frustrated and they give up on the advice. We're going to talk about why anxiety cycles like this, right? And by the way, before we really even get into it, I want to say that is so common. That is so common. You don't meet a whole lot of people dealing with anxiety that don't have this cycle, right? So you're not alone. This is not like a special stream for just a few select people out there. This is something that happens to just about everyone dealing with tired nerves, anxiety, OCD, whatever label you want to put on it. Forget the labels. It's all treated the same way, in my opinion, right? Dr. Claire Week's acceptance. But anyway, so the brain does this really aggravating thing, right? This really frustrating thing where it will try to trigger you over pretty much anything. If your nerves are in a tired state and your brain is wired for anxiety, which we can retrain, but if currently you are in a tired nervous system and your brain is wired for anxiety, it's going to try to pick just about anything and everything that it can to get you to fight, to get you to flee, to get you to worry, right? That's really its main goal, to get you to worry. So again, it does this really annoying thing where you can start your day triggered over whatever thought, whatever situation, and that can start to naturally fade. And then here comes something else. And it'll always be that way, right? As long as you've got tired nerves and you're in the process of recovering, until we really get those nerves to a decent state, which we're hopefully working on, right? It'll always tend to cycle like this. So don't get frustrated by this, because all that's happening is this, right? Your brain says, okay, I'm not getting quite the reaction that I was hoping for with that one trigger, whatever that one trigger might be, whatever that thought might be. I'm not getting the reaction I was hoping for. They just kind of accepted that, and they didn't really react too strongly to that, and they didn't really argue or fight with that. They just kept saying these accepting things. That's strange. All right, and then a couple hours go by and the brain says, well, WTF, this is not working. They are not fighting with me. They are not arguing with me. They are not getting up in arms about this. They are just accepting these feelings, and they're just saying accepting things. So I guess this trigger or whatever is not important, right? So then what happens is, because your brain is still wired to be anxious because of how you've trained it for so long, what happens is the brain says, okay, well, if that didn't work, let me try this, right? And then in comes some other trigger, some other intrusive thought, it locks on to something else, right? Which is why I say all the time, it is so important that you guys do not get caught up on content. Whatever the thoughts are saying, whatever the trigger is, don't get caught up on the content, because it's quite literally just your anxious brain sorting through different things to try to get a reaction out of you. So when you get caught up on content, you fight with the thoughts, worry about the thoughts, try to figure them out. And if you do figure them out, you're only met with something else that it tries to get you tripped up on, right? So it's completely pointless, futile, and very, very, very stressful to worry about the content. We don't worry about the content. We treat it all the same. And that's why we treat it all the same, because it's just flipping through the pages trying to find something to get you tripped up on. So there's no point in fighting with this trigger and not fighting with that trigger. You shouldn't be fighting with any of them, because, again, this is just a function of the anxious brain where it flips through the pages and tries to find something to get you tripped up on, right? So don't get frustrated when you accept one trigger and then your brain seems to get locked on something else, right? Just understand that that's a very normal way that the anxious brain functions. It's trying to find something, anything, does not matter, anything, to get you tripped up on, to get you fighting over, to get you worried over, right? When it's in this anxious state, that's its job, to try to find something to get you concerned about so that it can save your life, quote unquote, save your life, right? It doesn't know any better. It feels like an enemy. It's not an enemy. It's just your brain, your anxious brain, doing what an anxious brain does. It's doing its job. Try to find something to get my person tripped up on. So arguing and fighting with the content's irrelevant, because it's just going to try to find something else to get you locked in on, right? So you deal with one thing only to be met with another. It's very stressful. And it keeps you from recovery, ultimately, to fight with the content of all this. You just need to throw it all into the same bucket, right? It goes all into the same bucket. If you would simplify it like that, you would make your job a whole lot easier. We don't worry about the content because we know that it's just the anxious brain doing the anxious brain's job, trying to find something to get you tripped up on, right? That's why we don't worry about content. That's why we don't fight with content. That keeps you from recovery and it keeps you stressed. We throw it all into the same category. Right? So, again, don't get frustrated if you apply acceptance, if you start applying acceptance, and you're noticing, hey, these triggers are passing a little bit quicker. I'm onto something here, but damn, it always locks onto something else. Maybe I get like an hour break here or there, 30 minutes, or maybe not even that long, or maybe longer. I don't know where you're at in your stage of recovery, but don't get frustrated thinking to yourself, wow, here comes something else. If I could just get rid of this thing, then I'd be good. That's not true, because you fight with that thing long enough and you get rid of it, or you do enough coping methods and compulsions to get rid of it, it's just going to find something else to try to get you tripped on. So you're wasting your time. It's going to try to trip you up. You're wasting your time fighting with each individual trigger, and it's highly, highly stressful for you to do that, and ultimately keeping you on edge, right? Keeping those nerves tired. So don't try to figure out each individual trigger. Just understand that the anxiety cycle goes from one thing to another because it's just trying to find something, anything that it can find to get you tripped up on. So you must start throwing it all into the same category. Just my anxiety, my overprotective brain trying to get me caught up on something. So don't tell I see it all the time. Don't tell yourself things like, and I want chat to participate. How many people in chat have been tricked by this? Sitting there thinking to yourself, man, if only I could get over this trigger, I'd be good. I'd be on a smooth sail all the way to recovery. If only I could get over this one trigger that's bothering me today. Or how many people in chat have told themselves, wow, this trigger is so intense, I wish I could go back to my old triggers. Or how many people in chat have told themselves, if I could just figure out this one little trigger, then all the other ones, I'd be fine. Right? You're lying to yourself, and you're not doing it on purpose. You're doing it because it makes sense in the moment. But I'm here to tell you the way the anxiety cycle works is that if you get over this trigger while you're still anxious, while you've still got sensitized nerves, if you get over whatever this current trigger is, it's just going to find another one to try to get you tripped up on. It doesn't matter. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little energized. It doesn't matter what trigger you're currently on. When you sit there and tell yourself things like, well, if I could just get over this trigger, I'd be on a smooth road to recovery. No, you wouldn't. Not until you get to the point where you say none of the triggers matter, because it's just my anxious brain trying to find something to get me tripped up on. And I've seen it so many times. I've seen it happen so many times in the past. Somebody will say, well, Wonder Bro, I'm on this big trigger right now, and if I just get over this one, I'll be on a smooth sail, right? I'll be good to go from here. And I say, well, okay, whatever you say. And then they'll come back and however long later, and they'll say, Wonder Bro, I got over that trigger, and now I'm on something else. And I say, of course you are. Of course you are, because that's the cycle. It's just going to find something to get you tripped up on. But here's how you get out of it. You start to classify it all as just my anxious brain trying to get me tripped up on something. You forget about the content. You don't worry about the content. You treat it all the same. And here's what happens. You're no longer in that place where you're trying to fight each and every individual trigger, which is what's keeping you sensitized, and you start to heal, right? People are living their lives trying to fight each individual trigger because they're worried about the content, only for something else to come along. And the reason things keep coming along is because your nerves never get the chance to heal, because you're fighting with each and every trigger. You're fighting with the content of each and every trigger. Therefore, the nerves never get a chance to heal, and it just finds something else. God forbid you get over this one trigger, it just finds something else because the nerves are still tired. And that's why it keeps finding something else, and it keeps finding something else, because you're making the grave mistake of fighting with the content of every thought and trigger, thinking to yourself, well, if I could just get over this trigger, I'd be okay. And that's not the case. You fight with every single trigger, and the nerves never get a chance to heal. And because they never get a chance to heal, it just finds something else, because you're still in an anxious body and mind. Right? You must, okay? And for those of you who are truly dedicated to your recovery, you need to listen to these words. You must stop fighting with the content of every trigger if you want your nerves to heal, if you want your brain to learn, if you want to reprogram your brain. Because as long as you fight with the content of every single trigger, you're going to be spending a long time doing that. And you're going to be disappointed when you get over one trigger, only for your brain to try to find another thought to get you tripped up on, another trigger to get you tripped up on. That's what it does when it's in an anxious state. And if you want to get out of the anxious state, you stop fighting with the content of every trigger and you chuck it all into the same category, just my anxious brain trying to find something to get me tripped up on. When you start to live this way, you start to make progress, because every trigger that comes along, you say to yourself, yep, just my anxious brain trying to get me tripped up on something. And you don't fight with the content. And because you stop fighting with the content, we can finally retrain your brain, right? But as long as you're fighting with the content, living under the false belief that you must fight with the content in order to get relief, then we stay in that tired nervous system, right? So don't be tricked into believing that if you could just get over this one trigger, all would be well, and then you fight that trigger really, really hard, right? Because you're just going to keep yourself in a stressed out body and mind. So understand that this is normal. This is how anxiety tends to cycle. It just finds something to get you tripped up on. You overcome one trigger just for it to find something else to try to get you tripped up on. Wouldn't it be better if you just stopped fighting with the content and said, you know what, stay on whatever trigger you want to stay on. I don't give a crap. And if you want to switch to another trigger, that's fine. I don't give a crap about that one either, because I know you're just cycling through and flipping through the pages trying to find something to get me tripped up on. Wouldn't it be much better, chat, if that's how you started to live? Don't you think you would make much more progress in your recovery if that's how you started to live? I'm here to tell you, you would, and you would start to heal, and eventually the cycle would come to an end because you're not dragging it on and on with the constant fighting of every single trigger, right? So for those of you who are willing to listen to that message, you will heal. For those of you who are willing to listen to that message and really start to apply that in your daily life, you will heal. But for those of you who are not willing to listen to that just yet and are still going to fight every single trigger, don't expect to make the progress that you want to make, right? And that's not me trying to sound like a douchebag. That's just me telling you straight up. You're here because you want to heal, correct? You're watching this stream because you want to make progress, correct? You're watching this stream because you want to live a better life, right? Okay, well then you need to hear these words. If you continue to fight with the content of every trigger, expect your body and mind to stay tired. But if you want to truly heal, you just need to start telling yourself, it's just my anxious brain trying to find something to get me caught up on. It can stay on this trigger if it wants. It can move to another one if it wants. I know the cycle. I'm not fighting with the content of any more of my triggers. I'm just telling myself these accepting things, and I'm carrying on with my life, and I'm letting it play out. No more fighting with the content. Now, if you're truly here because you want to heal, there we go, those words almost came out wrong. If you're truly here because you want to heal, then you need to listen to those words and you need to understand those words. Don't make the grave mistake of watching the streams, taking in the advice and not using it, right? Right? Don't make the mistake of watching the streams and taking in the advice and not using it, because I know if you're here, it's because you care about the way that you feel. And I know if you're here, it's because you want to move on from this thing and you want to heal. Well, it's time. It's time. And in order to truly begin, you're going to have to drop the content. You're going to have to, you've got to come to a point in your life at some point you have to decide, hey, I got to drop this content. I know that it's just my anxious brain trying to find something to get me tripped up on. I'm not going to worry about this trigger, that trigger. I'm not going to tell myself I need to fight with this trigger to feel better, because I know it'll just find something else and I'll keep my nerves tired. I'm not playing the sick game anymore. Right? At some point, you've got to say to yourself, I'm not playing this sick game anymore. Whatever trigger is there is fine. I'm not going to try to fight with it just so it can find something else. If it wants to stay on this, it can stay on this. If it wants to switch up, it can switch up. But I'm not fighting with any of it anymore, because I know, again, I know that it's just my anxious brain flipping through the pages and trying to find something to trigger me over and get me caught up on. And I'm not going to get caught up anymore. I'm just going to, when I'm highly triggered, I'm just going to tell myself, you know what, it's just my brain trying to find something to get me tripped up on. I don't give an F, right? We got Sanchez in the house today. He loves that. He loves that saying, straight and blunt and to the point. I don't give a fuck, right? My brain's got me triggered over whatever, this, that, or the other tonight. I don't give a fuck. I'm not going to argue with it and try to figure it out because I know that's a waste of time, because I know it'll just flip through the pages and try to find something else. So why would I even bother? You start to live by this, dude. You start to live by this, and you are now out of the game. You're no longer playing anxiety's sick, twisted game, right? But as long as you continue to play anxiety's game, where you fight with every trigger thinking that you're going to get relief if you fight it off hard enough and you do the compulsions and the coping methods, anxiety's just going to throw something else your way. You're wasting your time. Be happy for whatever trigger that you're on, knowing that it doesn't matter. Be happy for whatever trigger that you're on, knowing that it's a lie when you tell yourself that if you could just get over this one, you'd be fine. No. If you keep fighting these, you're not going to be fine. You're going to stay in the tired body and mind. But if you eventually just say to yourself, you know what, fuck whatever trigger it's on. I don't care. I'm not going to fight with it because I know anxiety's sick game. It'll just find something else. So fuck whatever trigger's on. I'm just going to relax into it. I accept the way that I feel. I got that accepting inner voice. I'm living my life. Fuck whatever trigger it wants to pick tonight. It doesn't matter because I know it's all irrelevant. Because I know it's just flipping through the pages trying to find something to trip me up on. So there's no point. It's a waste of time to fight with each and every trigger. And in fact, the fighting with each and every trigger is what keeps you in the tired body and mind. It's ironic. You do it to help yourself, and it's the reason that you're not healing, right? So, you know, and that's really the point of tonight's stream, guys. You gotta, knowledge is power. You gotta understand how this thing works, right? And that's what we've been trying to teach for years here. You gotta understand how this thing works so that you can stop playing this sick game. Because as long as you brush it off and blow it off and just say, whatever, you know, I hear this guy, but I'm not really listening that, you know, too deeply about it. You know, as long as you don't open your eyes and listen to me when I explain to you how this cycle works, you're going to get tricked. You're going to continue to be tricked into fighting with these triggers and fighting with the content and playing anxiety's sick game, right? Some point you gotta sit yourself down on your ass and say, I'm going to listen to what this guy has to say. It's making sense. I see this cycle. I'm living this cycle. He's telling me how to get out of it. I love myself enough, and I want my life back enough to where I'm going to sit on my ass. I'm going to open my eyes. I'm going to be honest with myself. I'm going to hold myself accountable, and I'm going to start applying this thing, right? It's either that or stay in the hamster wheel and continue to be the victim of anxiety's game. The choice is yours. I'm just here to point you in the right direction. But the choice is yours. But until we get honest with ourselves and we say, you know what, he's right. It does cycle from one trigger to another. And he is right when he says, I fight with the content of every trigger. I've been doing that for weeks, months, years. It's no wonder I'm not getting where I want to go. It's no wonder I watch all the streams, but nothing seems to be happening. Right? The knowledge that you learn here on the channel, guys, right, is only as good as your willingness to use it. You can learn about the anxiety cycle. You can sit casually on the streams and learn about and listen to the words that I say. But if you don't internalize this stuff and say, you know what, let me get honest with myself for a second. I have fought with every trigger that I've ever had. I have fought with the content of every trigger under the false belief that if I do, I'll feel better. I have fought with every trigger that my anxiety has ever thrown my way. He's right. Until you get to that day where you can sit there and say, you know what, fuck, he's right. Then you're just going to be here consuming information and just going in a circle, right? And that's the honest truth. So, you know, I don't put these things so bluntly because I enjoy coming off, you know, harsh. I don't put these things bluntly because I enjoy raising my voice. I put these things bluntly because I don't want to see you waste another fucking day to this bullshit. You know, it's time to get started. At some point, it's just time to get started. You have to say to yourself, you know what? He's right. I argue with every trigger. I'm worried about the content. You know what? I've been doing that for years. You know what? It's no wonder I'm not getting where I want to go, right? We got to reach that point at some point, but I know I'm getting a little off track here. Just to kind of pull it back in, guys, anxiety does tend to cycle from one trigger to the other, and it doesn't matter how many triggers you fight with or solve or worry about or ruminate about or use compulsions against or coping methods against. It's just going to find another one anyway, so why are you wasting your time? In fact, you're not only wasting your time, but you're holding yourself back from recovery. As long as you fight with every trigger and the content of every trigger, you're just going to stay in a tired body and mind. It's time to say, fuck it, whatever trigger is on, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to fight with it anymore, because if I do, it'll just switch to something else anyway, and I'll keep myself in this cycle. So you know what? No matter what trigger comes, I accept it. I'm not worried about it because I know it's pointless. It's just going to find something else anyway. It's just my anxious brain trying to get me tripped up on something, and accept every trigger that comes your way. And you know what would happen if you started to live that way? I'm not bullshitting here. You know what would happen if you started to live that way? You would start to make that godforsaken progress that you've been wanting to make for so long. You would start to make that progress that you have been dying to make for so long. But it's not going to happen without your participation. And I'm here to tell you something else, right? It's much easier to go about it this way, to just say, hey, that's just another trigger my brain's trying to get me wrapped up on. I could fight with it, but what's the point? It'll just go to something else. Much easier and stress-free to live that way. I didn't say it was super easy, but it's easier than trying to fight the content of every single trigger. That is a miserable way to live. So if you're sitting there thinking to yourself, you know what, he's right, I think it's time to get started, but I'm scared to get started, don't be too scared to get started, because I'm here to tell you, it gets easier, and it's a much better way to live, and it will ultimately lead to your recovery. If you just chalk up all the triggers as your brain trying to get you tripped up and saying, you know what, let it be, and experience those intense feelings. I know they can be intense. You'll start to heal. You'll start to make it towards recovery. Much easier way to live than the way that you're currently living, fighting with the content of every single trigger that goes your way. So if you're scared to get started because you don't know what to expect, I'll tell you what to expect. Progress. That's the only thing that's waiting for you. Progress, right? So that's the anxiety cycle, guys. It does tend to go from one thing to another. You're wasting your absolute time fighting with it. Just let it play out, and you'll start to heal, and you'll start to recover. I know at several points throughout the stream tonight, I seem to get a little bit aggressive, but understand that aggression just comes from passion. I get so passionate about this because you see people out there suffering, and they're suffering needlessly. If they would just listen to what I'm saying with the cycle and how this thing works, and it's time to drop it, it's time to accept, if they would internalize these words, I know that they could live such a better life, and that they could heal, and they could start to recover. And you guys deserve that. You deserve that. So if at any point I seem to get a little aggressive, it's simply because I'm passionate. I want to see you guys make the progress that you deserve to make. I want to see you guys live the life that you deserve to live. And another reason that I get a little aggressive about it is because anxiety and its little game that it plays takes the quality of life from so many people, and it doesn't need to be that way. It doesn't need to be that way. There's so many people out there suffering needlessly. And when I say needlessly, I mean needlessly. When all you need to do is internalize what I'm saying about this cycle, really listen to what I'm saying about this cycle, and start to let it go and accept what comes your way, right? And accept what comes your way. You could start to live the life that you deserve to live. You could start to heal. You could start to recover. You're playing a sick, twisted game that you don't need to be playing, where you fight every thought, every trigger. It's just your brain trying to find something to get you tripped up on, and if you don't get tripped up on it, it'll pass. And it might come again, and it probably will come again. Try to find something else to get you tripped on while you're recovering. Come back to the same stream, right? Remind yourself, it's just my brain trying to get me tripped up on something. Fighting with it's pointless because it'll just try it again, so what's the point? And just stop the fight. Stop the fight. Someone break out the poster boards and the markers and write "stop the fight" on it. We need a rally. You've got to stop the fight at some point. And if understanding the anxiety cycle, like we talked about here tonight, helps you to stop that fight, then great. That's what we're here for, to try to convince you that it is time to stop the fight. And I'm giving you all the facts, right? I'm giving you all the facts. I'm giving you all the knowledge. I'm saying, look, how many times have you fought with a trigger only for it to find something else every single time? How many times have you fought with the content of every thought, every trigger, only for it to latch onto something else, lock onto something else every single time, right? Every single time you do that, you get more and more stressed, and it just finds something else to fuck you up with anyway. So why are you wasting your time? You're holding yourself back from recovery. If you would stop fighting with the content, and no matter what your trigger is for the day, or if it switches, whatever, you say to yourself, yep, there it is again, just trying to get me tripped up on something. I'm not going to fight it, because I know if I do, I'll just get more stressed. I won't retrain my brain, and it'll just find something else to lock onto anyway. So fuck it, I'm not going to fight with any of it anymore. Just going to accept the way I feel, move on, and finally get to healing. Finally heal and finally get to that recovery. So if you start living your life that way, we can put this all behind us. You won't have to be here anymore, right? You can leave the nest, so to speak. How long have you guys been dealing with this, right? Let's be real for a second here. How long have you been dealing with this? How long have you fought with every fucking trigger that's popped into your head? How long have you argued with every fucking thought that's popped in your head, only for it to find something else? Only for the anxiety to say, well, he figured that one out. He fought with that one long enough. He used a coping method of compulsion, so I guess we're good. Let's move on to the next one. You're stuck in a sick game. You are stuck in a sick game, and I'm here to try to get you out of it. But you got to listen to me, right? You got to listen to me. At some point, you got to stop fighting the content. You've got to stop fighting the content, and you've got to just say, it's just my brain trying to get me tripped up on something. If I fight with it, I'll stay stressed, and it'll just find something else anyway, so why do it? Right? We got to get you to that point. We got to get you to that point, and I'm gonna be here preaching and preaching and preaching, because I know how sick this game is, and it's needless, it's pointless, and I want to see you through it, right? And that's why I've been here preaching for as long as I've been preaching. But again, in order for it to be effective, in order for my words to hold any sort of weight, you've got to first be honest with yourself and say, wow, yeah, he's right, I have been doing that for years. And then you got to say, okay, it's time for a change. So that was the point of tonight's stream, guys. Anxiety tends to cycle from one thing to another. You're wasting your damn time fighting with it because of that reason. So why not just give up that fight? Why not start to develop that accepting inner voice and move on? Reach the healing that you so deserve, because you do. All of you guys, you so deserve that healing. And I want to see you get there. I want to see you get there. Even if we got to raise our voice a little bit, I want to see you get there. Because you're just stuck playing this sick game. All right, you guys? I love you oh so much. If you did enjoy tonight's stream, make sure you leave a big thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. We are growing every single day here. Vacate Fear family, man. We are almost on to 11K. Moving on to 11K. All the likes, comments, shares, I really do appreciate it. Every time you guys interact with the channel, we are growing. And when we grow, that means we can reach more people that might need to hear this, that do need to hear this, right? Because they don't understand how the game is played. So they're still fighting with every thought, with all the content, thinking that's important. So let's reach as many people as we can. Try to put a dent into the amount of suffering in this world, because it is so needless. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the main point of tonight's stream. I feel like that was a pretty good one. I'm going to pull up some music. We're going to get some music started and hang out with chat for a little bit. Read some comments, read some questions we might have. Wow, did we rant for half an hour? That didn't feel that long. Since Sanchez is in the house tonight, we'll do some Miami Vice. I think Sanchez is still in the house. All right, we'll get my my favorite tune going here. There we go. How is everyone tonight? I'm going to take a breather for a second. How is everyone tonight? Annie says, so tired of feeling scared for no reason. And I know you are. I know you all are. Nobody wants to continue to have to live that way, right? You don't deserve to continue to have to live that way. And that's why I'm here to try to shine some light on this bullshit so that hopefully you can start to meet every single trigger with, hey, you know what? It's just my mind trying to get me tripped up on something. There's no point. It'll just find something different, so I might as well stop. You know, that's what I'm here for, to try to get you to make that realization that the fight must come to an end, and it should come to an end because there's no point behind it. That's the main thing here. There's no point behind it. And, you know, that was really my goal with tonight's stream, trying to explain that cycle. We got Bendy Trees in here. What's up, Bendy Trees? Rick, what's up, Rick? What a live. Great content, brother. Cheers, everyone. We got this. Appreciate you, Rick. Thank you, dude. Hey, that's okay, Mindy. Nobody's perfect, right? Nobody's perfect. Get back up. Get back on board. Get back up. Get back on board. Knowledge is power. How have you been, Bendy Trees? Sorry, Sky, sorry about the breeze. I had Taco Bell for lunch. Taco Bell sounds pretty good right now, not gonna lie. Rick, what's up, dude? How have you been? Welcome. This is a good one tonight. If you are late to tonight's stream, I highly recommend you watch this one back. I don't say that about a whole lot of streams, but we got some really solid points in this one. We got some really solid points. Wait, is the music that low you can't hear it? I'm gonna turn that up a little bit. I got some music going. I thought it was loud enough. Can you guys hear that? Well, right now it's at a end of the song, but there we go. I decided to drink and made it worse. Well, I'm not here to shame anybody. You know, so what? You fucked up. People fuck up. It's life. We fuck up, right? It's as simple as that. Let's move on from it. Let's move on from it. Use the information in this stream and start to make a difference in your life, right? Let's move forward. Let's move forward from here. There's no reason to get caught up on I fucked up, because we're humans. We fuck up. Louder. Okay, I'll make it a little bit louder. Make it a little bit louder for you. It never fails. Exactly, Mindy. And that was my point of tonight's stream, is that it does never fail. It always finds something to get you tripped up on. As long as you're in an anxious brain that's wired for anxiety, right? You got some reprogramming to do. It will never fail. It will always try to find something to get you locked up on. And that's not me being negative. That's just me shining light on the cycle so that you can break out of it and say, hey, it doesn't matter what it's locked on, because it's just going to find something else to be locked on anyway. So why fight with this one when it's just going to replace it with another one? Why not just drop the fight completely? We can start to heal and it'll stop the cycle, right? So exactly, you are 110% correct. It never fails. Because as long as your brain is wired to be anxious, it's just going to try to find something to get you tripped up on. But knowing that is beautiful. Knowing that is great. Because then you can say, hey, it doesn't matter what it's locked on. I'm not going to fight it because it'll just find something else anyway and keep me in this cycle. Keep me from healing. So hopefully knowing that, you can start to practice that accepting mentality. Right? Right? But yeah, I couldn't have said that any better myself. It does tend to get, it does tend to never fail, so to speak. And that's exactly why you should stop fighting it. That's exactly why you should stop fighting it, because why not? It's just going to find another thing, and 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 another thing. And as people do this for weeks, days, months, and years, and they're like, why am I in such bad mental health? right? So you starting to see what's going on here, right? Starting to see what's going on here. That was a big realization that I made in my journey. I was like, well, dude, you can fight with what you're triggered over tonight, but why? You wake up tomorrow, it's going to find something else. Who cares if it stays stuck on this one? Just let whatever trigger is there be there, because it's just going to flip through the pages and find something else. Even if I do fight this one to the death, it's just going to find another one, and I might as well just say, hey, whatever you're stuck on, so be it. I'll just get comfortable with it, because what's the point? You'll just go to the next one, even if I do somehow win over this with enough fighting, and it, it's just keeping me stressed, keeping my nerves tired, keeping me from healing, right? Knowledge is power. Makes me wonder if I were to find a girlfriend in the future, would she find my vulnerability and crying unattractive? Well, you're working on yourself right now, and that's what's most important, I believe. Continue to work on yourself. We'll worry about finding this person or this person finding us, right? That's probably what's going to happen. Somebody will find you, but we'll worry about all that later. Let's work on ourselves right now and see what happens. If you think you have a lot of vulnerabilities, so forth and so on, continue to work on yourself. Continue to work on yourself. You, out of everyone, deserves your love the most, so it's not like it hops from one issue to another. It's so weird. Well, it's easily explainable, right? The brain does that because it's wired to be anxious. So if you overcome one thing, it just goes to another. If you get the reassurance for one thing, it just goes to another. If you do enough coping methods to get it to go away, it just goes to another, because it's wired to be anxious. So it's got to find something to trip you up on. It's got to find something to trip you up on, right? So people spend an ungodly amount of time fighting with every trigger, and because of that, they stay sensitized. They never heal, right? When really they should just be saying, who cares? If I fight with this one, it'll just find something else anyway, so fuck it, I'm not going to fight with any of it. And then when you get into that mentality of I'm not going to fight with any of it because it's pointless to do so, then we start to heal. Big things start to happen, right? Big things start to happen. I'm glad you see that. And I need you to keep pondering that. I need you to do yourself a favor and continue to ponder that, because it's so true. It's oh so true. And I don't want you to forget that next time you're tempted to fight with a trigger. I don't want you to forget what we've talked about here tonight, right? Again, knowledge is power. As long as your brain is wired to be anxious, it'll just find something else anyway. So why fight with any of it? Right? We eventually get to the point where it's like, what's the point? And when we get to the point where it's like, what's the point? We can finally just drop the fight and start to experience healing, right? And recovery. And that's really as simple as it gets. That's the most simple way that you can put that. And you're all gonna get there. Believe me, you're all gonna get there. Mindy, Anne, Sky, Bendy Tree, Sanchez, everybody here, whether you're there, not there, whatever, you're gonna get there. And if you're already there, you're gonna get stronger. It's just a matter of exposing the cycle for what it is, learning about the cycle, and using that to your advantage to not fight with it anymore. That's all it comes down to, and that's what we're trying to accomplish with these streams. Every single person in this chat right now deserves that. You deserve healing, and it's just a matter of accepting responsibility and saying, here's the cycle, and I'm going to step out of the cycle. It's time. It's time to step out of it and say, okay, I've got the knowledge. I know why it does this, and I'm not going to fight with any of it anymore because it's pointless. We keep coming back to that because it's so crucial. It's pointless to do it anyway. So why? Why? I have a question for the women. Would you personally find that unattractive? I think you're asking the wrong question. I'll tell you why. You should never ask the question of, is it unattractive for me to be vulnerable and to show my emotions? Because if somebody out there says, yes, that's unattractive, you're going to base how you feel on the irrelevant opinion of one person. Everybody's opinion differs. So to take a group study where you say, is this unattractive? To all the women out there, do you find this unattractive? I'm here to tell you that every single person's different. So to try to take a group study where you say, is this unattractive? Again, we come back to it being pointless. You can find the right person for you who does not find that unattractive, whereas maybe 15 other people do find it unattractive. Again, just more pointless pondering. Just more pointless fighting, just more pointless arguing. Just, we keep coming back to that word tonight. Pointless, 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 pointless. Right? And that can be applied to all of your worry in life. You're doing something very, very pointless and stressful by fighting with your anxiety, because it's just going to find something else anyway. So stop fighting your triggers and heal. You're doing something very pointless by trying to figure out, is this trait unattractive? Well, everybody's different. Right? Some people might find it attractive. Some people might find it unattractive. So, do you see how all this worry in life, whether we're talking about anxiety or is this unattractive or is this wrong with me, do you see how it's all pointless anyway? Because there's not enough data to take into consideration for it to be meaningful. Right? So much worry we do is just so futile, so pointless, and really, you just got to realize that. You got to continue to realize that. Next time you're tempted to do it, you got to come back to what we've spoke about here tonight. At Jot, who is that? Did I miss something? Tony, what's up, dude? Welcome. How are you doing? Did I miss something? Is there somebody in chat that I can't see for some reason? Yeah, exactly. A group study doesn't mean much to one person. So, you say, I just think that sometimes people tell me things I want to hear rather than the truth, which is probably true. There's people out there that'll just tell you what you want to hear, right? Yeah, that happens quite often, but to try to apply that to a large group of people and say that everybody feels the same way just will never stand. So it's pointless. We keep going back. It's pointless. Remind yourself, Charles, that you can overanalyze every single thought, feeling, and trigger, but again, it's pointless. You guys are going to get so sick of hearing that word tonight. You can overanalyze and ruminate and obsess over every single feeling and thought, but again, it's pointless, because if you get over that, it's just going to go to the next thing and the next thing and the next subject and the next topic and the next theme. That's what an anxious mind does. It just flips the pages and finds something else to get you on. So why fight with any of it to begin with, right? We keep coming back to that. Really the main point of tonight's stream, it's pointless. And you need to, not you should, but you need to remind yourself of that next time you're tempted to do it. Why am I wasting my time? Because if I get over this, anxious brain is still going to be stressed from all of my fighting, and it's just going to find something else. So why waste my time on this when I'll just have to fight another useless battle and another useless battle and another I might as well, I got to stop at some point, right? I just need to stop at some point. Whatever it's on. Okay, whatever. I have to quit at some point doing this. I have to quit doing this at some point. Wonder, bro, your garden looking great. Thank you, Panda. Appreciate it. That deer was popping in for a session, I think. He was eyeballing me. He was giving me the stink eye. Wonder Bro's in top form as usual. I appreciate that. Thank you. It's very flattering. Very flattering. Oh, okay. Okay. I get who she's adding now. She just took the first three letters. Got it. Maybe I'm not as in top form as I could be because I was not able to piece that one together. But what if one of my concerns is actually a legit concern? Get your usual checkups and call it a day, right? get your usual checkups and call it a day, unless you want to spend the rest of your life fighting with everything that comes along. You have a choice, right? Now that seems blunt, and I'm not trying to be too blunt, but you do have a choice. You can get your usual medical checkups when we're dealing with health anxiety. You can get your usual medical checkups, and God forbid if you have the worst pain that you've ever experienced in your life, you can go to the ER. But your second option is to fight with every triggering thought about every disease that comes along, only for another one to come along and another one to come along, and it never ends. So you really got to weigh your choices out there. You got to weigh your options out there. I can get my usual checkups. God forbid if I experience some gut-wrenching pain, I can go to the ER. Or I can fight with every single new theme that comes along for the rest of my life. Right? So there's really your two choices when we're talking about health anxiety or any form of anxiety, really. Some people's anxiety takes the form of a mental death, like going crazy or something. It's all irrelevant. It's all the same thing. You've got two choices at the end of the day, no matter what the form the anxiety takes. You can, live your life, make good choices, and go from there. Or B, fight with every new theme that comes along, whether we're talking about health anxiety or fear of going crazy or whatever form the anxiety / OCD / whatever wants to take, you're always going to have those two choices. So in my opinion, one really outweighs the other, and I think you know which one I'm referring to. Right? One of those choices sound a lot better than the other. If you do enough research, you'll see that quite a few people in their later years have a lot of regrets because they say things to themselves like, I've been dealing with this for so long and nothing ever happened. I've been dealing with this for so long and nothing ever went down. I fought with every single theme that came along, and here I am, 84 years old, and nothing ever happened. Well, it's too late at that point. It's too late when you've made it to the end of your life to decide that you've got regrets. We can't turn back the hands of time, right? I'm not trying to be negative or depressing, but it's the truth. When you wait until you're on your deathbed to decide that you should have listened and that you've got all these regrets because nothing ever happened, and you should have took the chance, and you should have not played it so safe because you had a whole life to enjoy, and now that's gone, right? It's too late at that point. And again, that's not me trying to be depressing or get you down. That's me saying, hey, it's time to go. It's time to get started. We don't want to wait until deathbed to say to ourselves, man, if I just would have listened, if I just would have done that, right? I could have enjoyed this life far more than I did. We don't want to wait until deathbed to say that. We want to say that now. Right? So get your usual checkups. If you experience some god awful pain, go to the emergency room, right? But every little thought that comes along that says this could happen or what if this could happen, it's time to stop fighting with all that, right? It's time to stop fighting with all of that. And again, we come back to our main point tonight that, our main point being that it's always going to find something else to latch onto anyway until you heal. So you might as well heal. And that's another good point. Once you heal, it won't latch on to all these different things. I think it was Mindy, once you heal, it won't latch on to every possible disease or health concern. It's just latching on right now because you're in a tired body and a tired mind and your brain is wired to be that way. You haven't healed. That's why it's latching on to everything. So I'm not saying for the rest of your life that you got to say fuck it to every thought. I'm just saying for now, until you start to heal, because once you heal, they won't come anyway. Once you heal, the anxious brain won't latch on to everything anyway. Right? So I'm not saying for the rest of your life you got to deal with this thing. I'm saying do it long enough to heal, and then it won't matter anyway because the brain won't be wired to send all these new things your way, right? So another good point that I want to point out there. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it is your decision to make. So, but we are right here, support you. We're already at 55 minutes. Are you joking? This has been a non-stop. I've been speaking non-stop this stream. 55 minutes went by that quickly. Wow. Okay. Then my brain, if I get it all clear, my brain will latch on to what if I go crazy, or exactly, which again proves my entire point here tonight. You just continue to prove my point. Thank you for that. It just finds something else, right, Mindy? It just finds something else. So why fight with any of it to begin with, which is my main point of tonight's stream. Main point of tonight's stream. Makes me wonder if people are lying to me to hide the truth from me. So again, just continuing to prove my point here tonight. Doesn't matter. Pointless. Let's hypothetically say that yes, everybody is just lying to you to make you feel better. And in reality, you're just super ugly and nobody likes you and everybody's lying to you to make you feel better. Okay, let's say hypothetically that's true. Of course we know that that's not the case, but let's say hypothetically that's true. Well, then what are you going to do about it? It's pointless. Pointless to try to fight with that. Pointless to try to figure out if everybody's lying to you or not. Pointless. It's just going to find something else. Once you get over this, you come to the conclusion, okay, nobody's lying to me, right? You feel better about it, so find something else for you to obsess about. Something else. Flip the pages, pick your poison. What's next? Anxious mind, just going to find another thing, and another thing, and another thing. Some point you just need to stop fighting to begin with, right? Some point you just need to stop fighting to begin with. We just accept and allow that too, right? Yes, exactly. Because again, our word of the night tonight, pointless to get involved in the fight. We're trying to break the false belief that your worry is somehow valuable. That's what we're attempting to accomplish. Trying to break that false belief that somehow your worry is this valuable thing that you need to continue doing. And we're trying to break that false belief tonight by telling you just how pointless it is, and by telling you that it's just going to move on to something else anyway if your brain is wired to be anxious, which I'm sure it is at the moment, right? It's just going to move on to finding something anyway, so you're wasting your time. And really that's what these streams comes down to, just trying to get you to the point where you stop that.
Donation.
Oh my God, that scared the shit out of me. Oh, that scared the shit out of me. Jen with the $10 tip, our first tip of the night. We're at our hour mark, man, and I didn't even think about tip goal. We've just been talking nonstop. I haven't even considered it. So that's why that scared the crap out of me. Jen with the $10 tip. Thank you so much, Jen. First tip of the night. We are on a 165-day streak. We are at our hour mark. I'm not going to end it here because I'm really enjoying. I'm talkative tonight. I'm very much talkative tonight. But we will be ending it somewhat soonish. I don't know if we'll keep the streak alive or not. But we're on a 165-day streak. It's a good stream. Whatever. It's been an awesome stream. Thank you, Jen, for the $10 tip. This is an extremely busy chat tonight. What a great group of people in this chat. Appreciate that, Mindy. Thank you. Acceptance is 100% move on. You notice a thought or, hey, my leg cramped up. Hey, oh well, have fun. But don't focus on them. I used to focus on the feeling or thought, thinking that was facing them. So it's okay to be aware of the feeling or thought, right? It's okay to be aware of the feeling or thought as long as you're not aware with all of that negative chatter, right? And I agree with you. It's a good move. It's a good move to make, to just get back to living your life. But if you are aware of the feeling or thought, that's okay. Don't log into the second fear. Don't log into the thinking that you need to solve it, which is the point of tonight's stream, that it's pointless to fight with it because it'll just find something else anyway, because your brain is currently wired to be anxious. So again, you guys are so sick of hearing that, but it's so true. It's so pointless to even start the fight. Is so pointless, right? I'm just trying to explain the cycle so that you can get to a point where you say, okay, enough is enough. I'm not going to fight with it because there's no point to it. There's no point behind it. But yeah, I agree with your comment. I agree with your comment. I'm just saying, if you are very aware of it, don't get involved in the fight with it. Eventually, as you continue to live your life, the awareness will start to die down too. But, if the awareness is there, remember that it's pointless to get involved into the fight side of things, right? But yeah, I agree with you, 110%. Got pulled over and my insurance was expired. I kept meaning to sign up for new insurance because I was looking for a better price. I was paying $200 a month for mine. Anyway, I got a ticket and I was told I'd need to arrange a court date, and that was a misdemeanor and shat bricks for nearly a month. I was too panicked to call the court and set up a date. But I talked to a few people and see what the rest of that comment has to say. Let's keep the streak going. Woohoo. Thank you, Jen. Appreciate you. Yeah, I've been so talkative tonight because we've had so many good questions tonight. I forgot totally about the tip goal. But we are on a 165-day streak, which is insane. Thank you guys. Thank you for that. And they both told me it wasn't a big deal and it would get thrown out, but I still panicked so much over it. Finally, I faced my fears and called, and guess what? Probably got dropped completely, didn't it? So again, pointless worry. It's all pointless to begin with. If someone could just tell me how stupid he looks, maybe he could learn from it. I sure wouldn't want to look like an idiot like him unknowingly. If you look stupid to somebody, who cares? If somebody thinks you doing what you enjoy is stupid or somehow makes you look like an idiot, I think you give way too much power to other people's opinions. I think we're asking the wrong questions. You want to know, well, will people tell me the truth so I can learn from this? What you really should be saying is, who cares what people think of me? People think, some people might think I look stupid doing what I enjoy. Okay, well, not everyone thinks that. And besides, the main point here is that it doesn't matter anyway. It doesn't matter anyway. After providing proof that I signed up of a new insurance, they dropped it. LOL. All that worry that I was going to go to jail for nothing. Yeah, definitely not going to go to jail over having no insurance. First offense. So all that worry for nothing, right? All that worry for nothing. little chilly in here, guys. We're going to cut the AC down a bit. A little chilly. It's good to see you. It's good to see you back in chat, Bendy Trees. It's been a minute. Been a hot minute. I get what you mean, trying to word it right. Yeah, I mean, there's a million, billion, trillion different ways that you can word it, right? The Pope is coming to my reservation. Makes me nervous. The Pope? I need some backstory here. That's the case 99% of the time, Bindi. I agree with Sky. I agree. Thanks, Wonder Bro, for helping so many people. So many of us talk about helping others, but you actually take the time to actually help others. You could do many other things, but instead you offer help. I appreciate that, Mindy. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. I can only hope that people heed my words and take them to heart, right? I say it all the time. The knowledge is only as good as your willingness to use it. But we will keep trying. We will keep trying. How does it feel to know a criminal? I know. I am surprised. I am actually shocked that you did not face at least a minimum of 20 years for your no insurance violation. I don't know how you pulled that off. How did you get away with that? Meanwhile, we've got people out here committing felonies at least once a month, and they get a slap on the wrist. But just don't know how Bendy Trees got away with her no insurance misdemeanor with at least not 20 years, I would think. I learned so much, and you helped me out. All Wonder Bro. I'm trying to read between the lines. Sorry, my brain's not working at the moment. You were right. Your technique works. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate you.
Donation.
Soccer Mob, thank you. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, says Wonder Bro missed the live stream, but I'll listen to the upload later. Yes, it was a good one. I've had more better moments than my shitty moments today. I have to admit that I'm a bit worried during the shitty moments, but I do my best to have the right mindset and keep living life. Practice. Rick, thank you. Back to back. Thank you so much. Soccer Mom, thank you. Yes, keep practicing. That's what it's all about, right? You're not perfect, and you're not going to be perfect, but remember how pointless it is to fight with the triggers, because the anxious mind just going to find a loophole, just going to find something else to try to get you tripped over. So completely pointless to do that. Let's restart our music because we're running out. Thank you so much, Soccer Mom, for the $10 tip. Takes us to 20. Rick coming in right behind her with a $5 tip. Takes us to 25. We might carry on the streak tonight. The streak might live on. 165-day streak. We're at 25. We are getting closer. We are getting closer. Nothing smooth here. Glad to be back. Love you so much, bro, and all my friends here. We love you too. We love you too. Nothing but love here. Nothing but love here. Everybody going through more or less the same challenges, right? So very, very tight family here, very tight community. Everybody understands each other. People, I mean, sure, people can experience different triggers, right? Different symptoms, but it's all the same boat. It's all the same practice. So everybody here understands everybody. Wonder Bro, would you have brought, I can't read. We're to the point where I can't read. Wonder Bro, would you have brought me a cake with a file when you visited me in prison while you were pulling your 20 plus years for your no insurance violation? I would have tried. No promises that I would have actually. See, I can't bake a cake, so I take it back. We're screwed from the beginning. I can't bake a cake, so I guess you would have to pull those 20 years. I try to remember. Wonder Bro, trust me, I try. I remember feeling normal, but even being normal, I felt worried about feeling normal. I felt awkward in a weird way. Like, how long will I feel normal? SMH. Yeah, it's just over and over and over again. If you don't remember much of anything from these streams, just remember this one thing, that as long as your brain is wired to be, to have anxiety until you hit recovery and healing, it's just going to find something else for you to freak out about anyway. Try to remember that to keep you out of fighting with these triggers as they come and as they go, right? Try to remember that there's no point. That's what I would say that you should try to hang on to. Maybe it'll keep you out of the pointless fight. The very, very pointless fight. That's what we're going for, right? Appreciate the feedback. I'll try not to care about what others think. And if my future girlfriend hates me crying, well, she can suck an egg. There you go. There you go. I think we've come to an appropriate conclusion. Abraham, my man. Thank you, dude. $5 tip from Abraham says, excited to see how close you are getting to that first half of the roof fix, Wonder Bro. We are getting very close on that. I don't have the roof goal on the screen right now. But thank you so much for the $5 tip. We are 20 away from moving on to a 166-day streak. Thank you, guys. All right, I'm going to bed. Thanks again, everyone. Thanks for joining, dude. Thanks for chatting. Kate snuck in the chat. Kate, what is up? Hello, Kate. Hello, Kate. I hope you're having a great night. Yeah, this has been a great stream tonight. We have tackled a lot of good subjects. A lot of good subjects. Thank you so much again, Abraham, for the $5 tip, Rick for the $5 tip, Soccer Mom with the $10 tip, and Jen P with the $10 tip. Thank you guys so much. Show them some love. Show them some love. Appreciate you guys. How are you doing tonight, Kate? I'm poor. I understand. I understand, Bendy Trees. No pressure. Kristen, hello. I chose to euthanize. Is that how you say that? Euthanize? I think that's how you say that. My cat this Monday, and I've been feeling intense anxiety about it. Maybe being a mistake. The advice you give doesn't seem to work here because of the grief. The advice we give here will work, but the problem is you're not willing to feel the grief, right? You're not willing. So what happens is we get tricked by our emotions. We get tripped by our feelings. Anxiety can take many different forms, and a lot of people don't talk about grief, but it can take the form of grief. So what happens is you experience a feeling that you think is different. This is somehow different, right? This is a different situation. And then you start to add more worry. You start to get involved in the obsession, the rumination, so forth and so on, and it doesn't pass. It gets stuck. It gets sticky. It gets icky. Right? But I'm here to tell you that any feeling, if allowed to be felt without the constant rumination, obsession, the pointless worry will pass. right? You have to allow, we always say you have to feel it to heal it. So don't lie to yourself and think, oh, well, I'm in a different situation and this just isn't going to work. Any thought or feeling that is allowed to express itself without you getting involved with the pointless worry, rumination, and obsession will pass. Mark my words. Do not lie to yourself and tell yourself you're somehow in a different situation, right? Do not lie to yourself and tell yourself, well, I should do the worry here because it's got a point to it. The worry will always be pointless, and it will always serve to keep you just kind of in this stuck, stressed out place. This is going to pass for you. This is going to pass for you no matter what form the anxiety takes, even if there's grief involved. This is going to pass for you. And the worry that you're doing and attaching to this situation, right, is not only pointless. Again, that's our main point of the stream tonight. Not only pointless, but is serving to keep you feeling stressed out. I do run into that sometimes. People thinking that maybe they're a special case, or no. It doesn't matter what the feeling is, right? It doesn't matter what the trigger is. Trigger that I made a mistake. Trigger that this. Trigger that. Right? That's all irrelevant. Whatever you fight with has power over you. Period. Close the book. End of the chapter. Whatever the trigger is, totally irrelevant. Content doesn't matter. What you fight with has power over you. The worry will always be pointless. The worry always serves to make things sticky. The worry always serves to stress the nerves. So don't lie to yourself like that. You know, you're doing yourself a big misjustice when you lie to yourself and tell yourself that somehow my trigger is a special case. It's not. It's not. Definitely not. Definitely not. You're right. Grief does require to be felt, just like any other emotion. But it's the worry that we tack on. Dr. Claire Weeks called it second fear. It's the worry that we tack on that just, let's put it bluntly, fucks it all up. Why doesn't content matter? Because it'll always find something else. You might get over this thing only for the anxiety to find another thing, which it will. If you look back at your past, you'll see that you've jumped from content, and you never stopped. And you're never going to stop until you admit that, right? Until you admit that. So content doesn't matter when we're talking about anxiety, because as long as your brain is wired to be anxious, it's going to find something else. And that's why so many people come to me and say, Wonder Bro, it took me so long, but I overcome this content and this worry. And just like Mindy said in the chat earlier, I went and got cleared by my doctor. I got a clean bill of health, but then my mind just went to, what if I go crazy? It's always going to jump to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing. Doesn't matter if you get 100% reassurance. Doesn't matter if you get a clean bill of health. It's always going to find the next thing to fuck you over on. So as long as you worry about the content and fight the content, expect to stay in the cycle. End of story, mic drop. It's time to open your fucking eyes. Love you guys. Love you oh so much. Love you oh so much, but somebody's got to say it, right? Love you oh so much, but somebody's got to smack you around a little bit. Love you oh so much, but unless somebody says it, nobody else will. Let's see. We talking about cats in chat? Are we having a cat chat? We're having a cat chat tonight? Obviously, you know, I do genuinely care, because if I didn't, I wouldn't allow you to continue telling yourself these things like, Why doesn't content matter? I want to stay stuck on content. No, 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 no. We can't do that. We can't do that. And I just gave you all the reasons why we can't do that. And the reason I give you all the reasons why we can't do that is because I want to see you get out of this thing, right? I want to see you get out of this thing. I'm desperate to see you get out of this thing. I'd say first and foremost, remind yourself how pointless it is to do the worry. Because again, you know, it just latches onto these things. So if you figure out one piece of content, it'll just latch onto another one. That's why so many people come to me and say, hey, I figured this out, but now it's stuck on something else. Well, that's what it does. As long as your brain is wired to be anxious, it'll always find something to latch onto. So why fight to begin with, right? One of my bigger points here tonight. So I'd say first and foremost, remind yourself how pointless it is to get involved in the fight. And secondly, just remember that you do have to feel it to heal it. So, and that's okay. All right, 1 second, guys. I'll be right back in 2 seconds. All right, I've returned. Or I've returned. Me too, Sky. Me too. Are you ready? Jump in podcast. Come on. Come on. Right now. Right now. Right now. Right now. First, we got to get you to figure out how to open the app, Sky, and then we can talk about the podcast. Hey, I got you on that one. That was a good one. You got to admit that was a good one. Give me props on that one. That was a sick burn. That was a sick burn. Come on. Come on. Where's my props? Give me props. At work right now. We'll get there. We'll get there eventually. Hey, Sky always finds time to hide in the corner or whatever it does, whatever he does at work to join my streams. So hopefully he doesn't get in trouble. I would feel horrible. See, so many excuses, so many excuses. People are like, I want to be on the podcast. And I'm like, let's do it right now, right now. And they're like, nope, can't. I'm at work. No, I need my own official stream. See? See? I'm trying, man. I'm trying. Kate and Sky are picking on me. They're picking on me. They're bullying me. And now I have to use acceptance. Okay, what about this? I'll end this stream right now. We'll start your own stream right now. Are you ready? Right now. Right now. Where did this ominous music come from all of a sudden? We tell ourselves on an anxious day this is good practice, but don't believe that it's all good since we can't convince the brain in the first place with just where exactly. It's the words are just there to keep you out of the pointless fight, right? The words are just there to keep you out of the pointless worry. Kate, where are you? I made you an offer. We'll end this stream and we'll start one. We'll start your own special stream. Kate has left the chat. Kate has left. See, they're bullying me. They are bullying me. I'm giving them everything they want, and they're gone. They're just gone. You wouldn't bring me a cake with a file. You're on your own, buddy. We'll do like a radio show open mic, basically. We'll just open the floodgates. We'll open the podcast channel and we'll give everybody the role and we'll see what happens. That would be chaotic. But no, it would be cool. It would be cool. There's several different people I want to get on like a podcast sort of deal. So Got to go. I'm tired. Good night, all. And Wonder Bro, enjoy your night. Thank you for all you do. You're so patient with us all. Much love. Thank you, Panda, for watching. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Buy a mic and tee up a live stream with you. I mean, let's do it. Podcast sounds like fun. It is. It is. We've only done, like 2 as of right now. 2 with A. He's always fun to have on. Kate, where is Kate? Kate, let's do this. I will start the stream over. You will have your own special stream as per your request. Let's do this. Where is Kate? I'm in Mexico right now. I actually flew for the first time in 20 plus years. I love it, dude. Hope you're having fun. Can't believe this chat is this strong this late in the stream. In this stream, I'll cover you on the first 100%. Let's get Wonder Bros typical. I'm really enjoying tonight's stream. It's been a lot of fun. We've seen a lot of faces that we don't normally get to see tonight. We're 20 away from moving the tip goal forward, but honestly, it's just been such a fun stream tonight. A lot of good questions, comments. We've had fun picking on each other a little bit. Let's take a vote. Who wants a call-in stream? Yeah, like an open mic sort of deal. No matter how old I am, she still yells at me. I understand. I understand completely. Thank you for stopping by, though, Bendy Trees. Appreciate it. Been here 11 days. I'm having a good time. Of course, society came along, but I've been doing my best to accept and float. Flying back tomorrow, of course, I'm nervous about it. Really, the point of tonight's stream, we were talking about how pointless it is to get into that worry, right? How pointless it is to get into that worry. So, you know, have a good time, enjoy your vacation, and just remember that whatever comes through that door, anxiety-wise, whatever triggering thought, oh my God, whatever triggering thought comes through that door, remember that it's not worth fighting with. Soccer Mom with the $20 tip says, let's keep the streak going. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. We are moving on to a 166-day streak. The streak stays alive. The streak stays alive. Thank you so much, Soccer Mom. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. Let's go over the list of names one more time here. We've got Soccer Mom, Lincoln, Rick, Soccer Mom again, and we've got, let's see, Jen. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. Everybody seems to be down for like a call-in sort of podcast. I've never thought about it like that. I always just kind of assumed one person at a time, but could be interesting to do a call-in sort of deal. Just start the stream and see who wants to join, right? Something like that. It could be interesting. I wish Kate was still here. Where did Kate run off to? We need to do Kate's podcast. We need to do Sky. And now I'm considering the idea of like the open mic sort of thing. That could be fun. Bye, guys. Love you all. Keep your chin up. Keep accepting and floating. This was so fun. Thank you for stopping by, Bindi. I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. Tonight's stream has been great. You rock, Soccer Mom. Yes. Yes, you do. I'll cut Kate some slack. It is a little late. It is almost midnight. It is almost midnight now. Holy crap. I'll cut Kate some slack on that one. Yes, thank you for stopping by, Bindi. Thank you. Appreciate you. Before I go, do you think medical condition causes worry and anxious feelings? Would a medical condition cause ruminations and panic? A medical condition could cause certain symptoms, but what you'll notice is a lot of times people with actual medical conditions, they're not talking about anxiety, even if their medical condition causes them some sort of anxious-like symptoms. They're not really talking about that because they're not doing the worry, right? So the main source of your worry is going to be, of course, habit. So again, people with medical conditions that may experience some sort of symptoms that mimic anxiety because of their condition, you'll notice if you speak to them, they're not even talking about anxiety. They're not going around saying things like, oh, my anxiety is just so horrible. Nah, they don't do that. So the main cause of your worry, of course, is going to be habit, just habit, second fear habit. And remember, don't forget that you overcome some trigger about this possible thing or this possible health condition, whatever. You said it yourself. Your anxiety just tries to trip you up on going crazy or whatever the case may be. Really, our main point tonight that it always cycles regardless, so you're wasting your time, right? I mean, you've seen that for yourself firsthand. So don't forget that. Don't forget that, how it tricks you like that. Alright, guys, we have been here for, 20 minutes. We'll be here for 2 hours. Let's go ahead and get our song ready to go and start to wind it down here. Chat is starting to slow down a bit. We're moving on to a 166-day streak. So, yeah, let's go ahead and wind it down here. This has been a really fun stream. Thank you guys so much for everything, man. I appreciate you. Thank you for all the comments, questions, the likes, typical. Thank you for everything. Let's go ahead and get our song going. I love you guys oh so much. And until next time, as always, I think that's all I need to say. Is that all I need? Yeah, that's all I need to say. I love you guys. Until next time, as always, stay awesome.
I'm a stone cold killer, I'm a billionaire. I got my own gold digger. If I wasn't this way, I'd rather die. Did it die? Yeah.
Yes, by the way, absolutely, Mindy. Whatever you decide to do moving forward in your recovery, remember that anxiety will lie to you and that it'll just change up and switch up anyway. So do what you think is best for you, of course. It's your choice to make, it's all of your choices to make. But remember, recovery is there, healing is possible. All right. I love you.
I know I'm talking a lot, there's something I gotta get off. Don't wanna be this no more, I don't wanna drink no more. Always gotta do the most, thinking that I'm insecure. Really should've listened more, but I don't, of course. I'm an asshole, I'm a good guy, I'm your best friend, I'm the worst type. Tell you everything that you heard right, just so I can fuck on the first night. Feel like I'm losing hope, running from coast to coast. I don't know where to go, this all I've ever known. I'm a stone cold killer, I'm a billionaire. I got my own gold digger. If I wasn't this way, I'd rather die. No, did it die? Wait, did it die? Wait, did it die? I'm a stone cold killer, I'm a billionaire. I got my own gold digger. If I wasn't this way, I'd rather die. Won't die. Did it die? Wait, did it die? Wait, did it die? My aunt think I'm perfect, I know I'm not. My mama be worried, I told her stop. They know I did drugs and think that I'm off. Little do they know I never could stop. My manager hate when I'm pulling up late. Back on my bullshit, she think it's a phase. I got relations I gotta maintain. I'm two different people, my side and my main. Yeah, I'm sober, I'm an addict, I'm a low life, I got habits, but I refuse to be average. Really so tired of acting, don't know what I miss no more. Too bad you don't hit me more. I'm bad when I get too bored, careful what you wishing for. I'm a